happened this past Saturday. You and I and my friends and family all got together and celebrated my son's 10th birthday. We went over to the indoor play area and had a hell of a time and had a bash, and everybody was good. And you know what it reminded me of at the end of the day? Not at the end of the day. Let me not say that, because I was drunk by the end of the day. But the next day, I started thinking about Saturday as a whole. When's the last time you saw Terminator 2?
When's the last time I saw Terminator 2?
Yes.
I don't. I fucking wouldn't even be able to answer.
Okay,
that.
but do you remember? You remember seeing the movie at some point?
Yeah, some of them. I'm pretty sure I can get some of it confused with one.
So there's a scene in Terminator 2 where Sarah Connor apparently is dreaming. Okay, because the whole point of that movie is that she's trying to save her son because her son's being attacked. The reason why the son's being attacked is because when the robots and the AI take over the world, her son, John Connor, is going to save the world from those robots, right? But in the midway through this movie, she falls asleep. She has a dream. She has a dream that she had failed and her son had passed. And they did not stop Skynet from destroying the world. But that's not how it's illustrated immediately. She's sitting at a park, and the sun is shining. There's children at play. The adults are smiling. What a happy time. This is Americana, man. The kids are on the swings. There's just joy and happiness everywhere. And she looks up, and incoming is a nuclear fucking bomb. And
oh my God, where are you going with this?
And she's trying to get everyone to safety. She gets off of her bench and she starts shaking the fence and she's telling people to run and no one's listening. They're just enjoying their time. And then a nuclear bomb goes off and you see it explode and you see people melting and dying and the flesh comes off of her bones and she's shaking the fucking cage and everything like that. It's a really, really dark scene. And the reason why...
Where the fuck are you going with this?
The reason why I bring this up is because when we were celebrating my son's birthday, we were the family and the kids at the park. We were just laughing, enjoying our day, not knowing that that night a nuclear bomb was going to go off and was going to burn all of us to death and change the world as we fucking know it. I didn't know. I was ignorant. I was living in blissful ignorance that whole day, not knowing that my world was about to change forever. And we'll get to that, because this PLE that happened on Saturday, and it's a little column A, it's a little column B, okay? There's some things that happened on this pay-per-view that you can skip it. It's all right. You just move on, right? But then there's stuff that happened on this show that will fucking live in infamy forever. We've beat around the bush enough. Elimination Chamber took place this Saturday. It was in Toronto, Canada. WWE is on the road to WrestleMania. I will take responsibility. I said it. I said, I don't really feel like we're on the same fucking road we were on last year. Because around this time last year, we were already cooking. I felt like this year was a slow simmer. It wasn't real. I mean, it's there. There's pieces there. I can't wait for Mania. That's the usual feeling. But I wasn't as jacked. So my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law came to my house after. And because my wife wanted to hang out with them, they came late. They felt bad. We ordered food for them and stuff like that. But I still had the pay-per-view on in the background. Nobody was really paying attention to the fucking TV anyway. It was just me. So I'm watching the pay-per-view, and I'm chiming into the conversation, but I'm between two worlds now. And I felt bad because there was so many things where I kept stopping my conversation because something awesome just happened on the TV.
They're gonna have to wait.
Yeah, I was like, time out. And it got to the point where Danny, who you met at the thing, he hasn't seen wrestling in a very long time. So I turned the fucking thing on, and there's this big metal fucking chamber hanging in the sky. And he was like, "What the fuck is that?" I said, "That's the Elimination Chamber." He goes, that looks different from a cage." I was like, "Oh, it's very different." And
it's very different.
And I explained it to him, and then it lowered because I was like, "Oh, I guess the women are up first," which is obvious. So they bring the chamber down, and I explained to him the pods, and I even did the commercial. 2 miles of chain, 10 tons of steel. Like, you really gotta hype it, right?
They gotta sell it.
And he's looking at this chamber like it's death. Like, oh my God, this thing looks amazing. I've never seen something like this. And then Alexa Bliss's music hits, and here comes this 5'0" girl out to come out first. And his face dropped. And he was like, "What the fuck? Are they putting women in this?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh my God." Because the last time he's seen it, he was a kid, women didn't wrestle like that. He goes, "They're putting them in the chamber?" I said, "Yes, 6 women are going in the chamber. The winner gets a shot at the championship at WrestleMania." He's like, 6 women? He goes, "This is crazy." So whatever we were talking about is out the window. He wants to watch this match now. He wants to see how this match is going to happen. Now, let me precursor this real quick. Before we saw this pay-per-view, before it came on, we were talking about other stuff. And Captain America came up because we had seen it, and he was debating whether or not to watch it, and we gave him, our review or whatever. And one of the things that we talked about that we hated, and I won't spoil it here for people, but there's this like 4'10" Israeli lady who is supposed to be like a Red Room Black Widow trained assassin, and she's like 4'10", like 80 pounds. And she's not a super soldier. She doesn't have a serum. She doesn't have the serum. She doesn't have powers. She's just a skilled assassin, and somehow was able to take 6'5", 250-pound men and just fucking toss them across the room. She was just flinging people, and it took us out. I was like, I'm not co-signing any of this stupid shit. And we told him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, that sounds stupid." So keep that part in mind. So the chamber comes down. We're starting off with the women. Here come the women. Right? Alexa's coming out. The whole order in which they did it. After the chamber is about to close, with the 2 standing in the ring, which is Liv and Naomi, Jade Cargill's music hits. And when Jade came out, Danny goes, "There's who should have been a widow. Look at that shit." He was like, "God damn, who is that?" I said, "That's Jade Cargill. She's the shit." And he was just like, "Wow, because Bianca came out and he was impressed with Bianca. But then here comes Jade. He's just like, whoa. When Bianca came out, he was just like, "What the? Wow." I was like, "Yeah." And then we gave him the resume. He's like, "Yo, Bianca's a former All-American athlete. Track, basketball, the whole thing." Jade Cargill, also All-American in basketball and sports at collegiate level. These are like real athletes. These are not just, they look amazing, but they're legitimate athletes. I think Bianca Belair is the one who holds if I'm not mistaken, she holds the deadlift records at the Performance Center. She still holds that record. She is strong as a goddamn ox. And so here comes Jade. Now I'm setting this up because I want to hear from you when this happened, right? Cargill comes in, and there's multiple things happening. She's making a beeline to who we think is Liv Morgan. And Naomi's got a smile on her face. Bianca's got she's hyped in the corner. "Oh, you thought, Liv? You thought? I told you." And then Jade does a perfect job. She goes right for Liv. Liv sells it wonderfully. Like she's going to get her ass kicked. And then she just pivots to the fucking left and proceeds to beat the black off of fucking Naomi. She beat that glow stick shit off of her head so goddamn bad. She threw her in the glass. She threw her in the chains. If a grandmother on a fucking bicycle would have been there, she'd have picked up the grandmother and beat Naomi over the fucking head with it. She dragged this bitch to the outside of the chamber. She closes the fucking chamber door in her face. She beat the teetotal shit out of this woman and then walked out of there. And the whole time she's doing that, Bianca is bugging in the chamber because she can't get out. "Why are you doing that? Don't do it." And this is primetime drama shit. We haven't started
Yeah,
the
they're selling.
match. We haven't started
selling,
the
boy.
match. She's upset, not like anger, but like set. She's crying. Naomi's unfucking. She's out. You know, she's kind of moving a little bit. And Jade does all her damage and then just fucking leaves. That's it. Liv plays it perfectly, goes to the glass. She's making fun of Bianca. I told you it wasn't me. And then I'm thinking to myself, for a split second, I thought to myself, because we've seen this before. Wait, there was an elimination chamber where Edge was the was it the WWE? Yeah, I think he was the WWE champion. Edge was the WWE champion for one of the chambers at the start of the show, and he lost his championship. And then in the main event of another chamber, Kofi was making his way to the chamber when Edge beat him up and knocked him out, and then got in the chamber and took his spot and won that one. So we've seen people get injured and then replaced. When Naomi got taken out of there and Jade had left, it was like a dead silence. And then the clock started. So I was like, oh, we're not even going to replace her. That's it. Naomi's just out. We're no rest for the weary here. We're just going to keep going. But before I go on to the next thing, your thoughts. What were you thinking when this whole thing unfolded?
Well, we all kind of, because they ended up being on there when I was watching it. I went crazy because the entire time all this stuff is going on, those two, and I'm sure other people were too, but those two were like, Naomi did it. Naomi. It was fucking Naomi. I'm telling you, it's Naomi. It was Naomi the whole time. So when she came out, did that pivot and kicked her, they lost their fucking minds. They were like, we fucking told you it was that bitch. Get her out of here. Get her. Like, they were popping. They don't like Naomi too much.
I don't either, so it's all right.
The fact that, like, she was getting destroyed, they were like Jade fans, dude. They were like, you know what I mean? Like, bust her ass, get her out of here. Like,
they're on the bandwagon now.
Moment. It was a cool moment. I think I can still see a little bit of that green in Jade, but I think that moment was probably one of her best performances.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So I'm really excited to see, you know, as she's been out under the injury, she's been cooking. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. They got something going right now. Let's see what happens.
She looked strong. She looked
intense.
More
cut.
Yes.
She came back.
She looked intense. She looked zoned in. She looked good. And for two people in the room, in my living room, who had never seen her before, when that shit was over, and there was that little lull part before the counter started, the two people who were in my room, one of which had never seen wrestling, and the other one who hasn't seen wrestling in years, both looked at me and said, how is she not in the men's rumble? She's too much for the women. The men's chamber. She's too much for the women.
Did you say, calm down?
Yeah, I did. Like, I did.
Calm down.
I was like, calm down.
Please. Like, I get it. I'm with you. Yeah. She's nice. She's doing good.
Nice. She did a good job. But we're not going that far. So we're not going both for both here, but obviously after that whole scenario, here comes Roxanne Perez, here comes Bayley, here comes Bliss, here comes Bianca.
I mean, there's I'm gonna hold judgment. I'm gonna give her grace. I was a little disappointed on Roxanne. A little disappointed.
Yeah,
I was I'm holding back. I was big disappointed.
Yeah,
big. Big.
Actually, she embarrassed me.
She felt very
I put her
flat.
Over. Go ahead.
No, This might have hurt her very badly, dude. Very badly.
I don't think it hurt her very badly. I think she can recover from this, but it wasn't showing that.
Oh no, I'm not saying she's done. I'm just saying this hurts.
Actually, the funny part is the stuff that Liv did. I was expecting out of Roxanne.
Let's not. Are you gonna make me do it? I feel like you're gonna make me do it.
Make you do what? What are you gonna do now? You're not gonna put over Liv Morgan, are you?
Dude, I kind of have to.
Oh Jesus!
I don't want to, but she kind of
forcing your hand.
The chamber. She kind of stole the like. I was talking to them, and let me just at least make this point.
Uh-huh.
The one thing I will give her a shout out on is that two things happen. I think one, the WWE has figured out what to do with Liv.
Yeah.
And two, I think Liv has understood that role and is now embracing it. And it's fucking working for her. That's be annoying, which she does amazingly.
Yeah.
And don't fucking wrestle. Have moves that you can do and perfect those moves.
Right.
But then be more theatrical than you are a ground and pound wrestler. And she's leaning into that shit, and she's letting the people around her do what they do best, and she's performing moves without messing up. She's being in the right place at the right time. She's selling the whole Jade thing. The back and forth between her and Bianca was really good. The up top was good. The fucking bouncing off the cage, which I still don't think was her idea, but was fucking awesome to see. Like, she's doing these very theatrical things that look awesome, and she's selling them well, and she's not trying to come out here and be like the best fucking wrestler, and it's working. And it makes me annoyed that I have to break this down because I fucking hate Liv Morgan, but she's kind of cooking right now. Ever since she got that belt run when Rhea went out, she started to develop there, and at this moment, she's cooking.
So I don't
hurt me to say that.
I don't like Liv Morgan. I don't like Liv Morgan.
I don't like Liv Morgan.
Yeah, I know you don't.
Liv Morgan. She is not a friend of the show.
No.
We don't like
I don't think we've dogged anybody more than we've dogged fucking Liv Morgan. But you're not alone. She stole the chamber.
Hurts.
She stole the chamber. I'm with you. She stole the chamber.
She's cooking. Let her cook.
She did a great job.
Let her cook.
She did a great job at the chamber. Yeah, she did a great job at the chamber. I put it out there. The first time I gave her a compliment was with her role in the feud with Rhea Ripley. But,
so this is your fucking fault.
But to be fair,
you bigged her up.
No. Listen to the ending of it, because what I said was I'll give her credit for carrying her weight during the feud with Rhea, but it's a feud with Rhea Ripley.
But
I want to see her.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I want to see what she does after Rhea, and so far, after Rhea, she's done a pretty good job, because the tag match on Monday was really, really good. And then this performance here for this chamber was also really, really good. We forgot to mention that she also took the fucking hair whip to the fucking gut, which was so loud it scared my nephews, who was minding his own business, by the way, playing with blocks. And then that crack happened, and he shit himself. He was like, what the fuck was that? And we said, we sorry, Kayla. No, it was the TV. It was the TV. But, yeah, she did her job. She did exactly what she was supposed to do. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I don't hate for the sake of hating. I do not like Liv for the reasons that she gave me. I'm not going to sit here and make shit up. But what's good is good, and she did good. So we're going to sit here and we're going to tell the truth, and we're going to say that Liv did her goddamn job well. Because that's what she did.
I'm going to let her keep cooking. I'm not telling those guys. The people that watch the wrestling, they fucking love Liv Morgan. I'm not telling them this. Fuck them. But for right now, she's cooking. Let's fucking move on. I don't like myself right.
They love Liv Morgan, huh?
They fucking love Liv Morgan. Whether it's to spite me or that they actually do like Liv Morgan.
Hey, they're thinking with their dicks. Don't worry about it.
Fair. I don't care. Let them do it. But she's terrible.
Or
she's cooking now.
But
so whatever.
And here's the pleasant conclusion to this conversation. We are one step closer to Dave and the WWE ending their lifelong beef. Because the winner...
Are we in the redemption tour?
We're one step away. Or we fought. Hold on. Because I'm just coming to the remembrance now of something. But we'll get there. We'll get there. One step away, because you said step one would be if Bianca walked away with this, and she did. She won the chamber. She's going to Mania. She's going to face the champion, which we thought was going to be Rhea Ripley. Now, we're not doing a Raw review, so I guess it's safe to say that we can go into that now. We have a bump in the road here.
let me say this. Let me get this one. Okay,
Okay.
so when the thing with Jade happened, it leaned more into our conversation about them splitting that group up, and that's what was holding Bianca back, was her paying her dues or whatever the case may be, working with the talent.
Yeah.
She's
Trying to get
she's
some new,
she's
trying to make
giving
some new
people the rub.
stars. Yeah.
Yes, giving people the rub. And I felt like she was stuck in that. The Jade thing kind of solidified, okay, we've now just separated everybody, which is cool. And then I'm like, okay, she could actually win this. When it got down to just those two, I'm like, oh, I don't think this is going to happen. They're going to do this to me. And out of all fucking people, they're going to do it with Liv. This sucks. And she won.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, this isn't going to happen, right? Like, you're not going to do this to me. She's not going over on Rhea at Mania. It's not going to fucking happen. There's no way they're going to let her beat Rhea in that moment. They hate this girl for some reason in the back, and I don't know why. So
Bianca.
Bianca. It's not that they hate her, but it's just like one of those, like, we like to tease her, so they just pick on her constantly with this bullshit. So I'm like, all right, whatever, right? So I'm happy. We're happy, whatever. Then we go into Monday, and I'm like, wait, why do I see Asuka? Like, I'm not Asuka. I'm sorry.
Racist.
Why do I see Io Sky there? And then they told me, because I guess I missed a Raw or something, that, because her match got messed up, she was getting a shot at the title on Raw.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, right? Like, that's a fun little match, right? And we're watching, and I'm watching the match, and I'm like, yo, low key, like, I'm really just telling them, because we were watching Raw, and I'm like, the only thing that sucks about fucking Io is out of the ring. She's just not good out of the ring. In the ring, though, she's a fucking monster.
Yeah.
She's so good in that ring. So I'm watching, I'm saying that to myself, and then I kind of look over, I look back, and then there's this little spat between Bianca, and then she's like, pay attention, whatever the case may be. They go up top, she reverse off the top, she hits a splash and fucking pins her for the full count. And I am fucking speechless. Like, I literally stood there in silence to the point where one of my friends were like, is anybody there? I'm like, dude, I'm fucking here. And I'm trying to put two and two together. Why is Rhea just fucking dropped the belt on a Raw? Like 2 or 3 Raws before Mania. Or like a couple, like so close to Mania, she just dropped the belt. Like, where are we going with this? And then I got to thinking, I'm like, were they listening to our podcast? Doubtful, right? And they're like, oh, okay, sure. If we can get the apology out of this one guy, what we'll do is we'll have Io beat her so that way Bianca doesn't beat Rhea. That's a thought that came. I know it sounds stupid, but that's a thought that came into my head. But dude, what is that? I'm still blown by her dropping the belt there.
Yeah, my wife was asleep. She fell asleep, and when she hit over the moonsault, it counted 1, 2, 3. I literally screamed, "What the fuck!" like really loud, because I was just like, "What is happening here? So what the fuck is happening?" And yeah, they pulled the fucking trigger on the title change. My wife this morning, because she was goofy eyed last night. She doesn't remember anything. So we showed her the clip again, and she was like, "Do you think they're building toward a 3-way?" I was like,
God,
I don't want one, but
don't want one.
That you had your match right there on the table. We didn't need Io, man. We didn't. That wasn't a necessary component to this. And I was just
if there's 3 girls that can work a 3-way match and make it look good, I think it's these 3.
Yeah, but we did.
But I don't want that.
This situation did not call for a 3-way. This was the dream match, man. And
yeah, but there's no way Rhea doesn't go into Mania
not in a title match. Yeah, I know.
There's no way. There's no way after last year she gets injured, has to force to drop the belt. Then right before Mania, she's taken out of the picture. Clean, by the way.
By two people who spent most of the year in tag team action. Because Io has been doing damage control matches all year. And as you just said, Bianca has been on babysitting duty all fucking year. And those two are going to be the championship match at WrestleMania, not her.
At this point in time.
Yeah, exactly. As Triple H said at the press conference, I know patience is hard to come by these days, but give us time. We're working on something for you.
Is this, I know this sounds stupid and weird, but is this a way to make it so that the female wrestlers don't have to main event one of the nights so that Cena can get that main event? Or one of the main events?
Cena Cody is going to be in the night 2 main. That's the main event of the entire fucking thing. That's going to be the main event.
Yeah, that's the
And we know that Gunther and Jey Uso was never going to be on last.
I think they're going to go first.
Maybe they should. They should, but they weren't going last. So I remember saying when we first did the Rumble, I said, if you're going to give me Charlotte versus Rhea Part 3, that's your main event of night 1. I don't want to hear it. I didn't get that. Then when I didn't get that, I was disappointed and realized, wait, I could get something better. I could get Rhea and fucking Bianca finally, and then they gave it to me for like a day. And then they take it from me again. I was like, motherfucker, every time I get excited about the women's title situation, you change it up on me. So we're going to have to sit in a holding pattern for just a minute and see where this takes us. And we will move on to the next matchup for the evening, which will take us 2 seconds to fucking talk about. Because who in the fuck cared? I am sorry. I didn't need that. Remember I told you I was like in and out talking to people and then watching the show at the same time? I phased out on this one. I was doing some talking because I was like, get the fuck out of here. The WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton teamed up with Trish Stratus as they defeated Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Who did it help? Nobody. Who was it for? Toronto. Outside of
Trish.
Toronto, who cares?
They said the moment they said that this was the first time that Trish Stratus was able to perform in front of her children, it all made sense.
Yeah. Yay for them. So we finally found out who gave a shit about this match. That became pretty obvious.
No, I'm kidding. Mommy, why are we here?
Yeah, they were on their iPads the entire match.
Yeah, right.
So, did you see Mommy's match? Sure. You did good.
He looked up. When is Mommy coming out? Stucci just finished.
He's like, oh shit.
Can we go home now?
Yeah, are we good? Are we done? Fuck. It's loud in here, for fuck's sake. And I didn't bring my headphones.
That's funny.
All right. Yeah, so I said what it was. We're moving on. No one gives a fuck.
Oh, you can do that again right now.
Oh boy. Okay. So no, I'm not gonna go long with it. But
all right, enjoy.
Yeah.
Here's my take. To get it done. This shit was boring as fuck. All right, you can go ahead now.
Okay. Well, you're not wrong. It not that it was boring. To me, I liked the ideas that they had. Listen. There's a term that they use in the courts, when women get divorced and they get alimony, and the lawyer says, you have to pay because they've gotten accustomed to a certain style of living. You know what I'm saying? I have seen Kevin Steen and El Generico tear the literal, actual, not hyperbole, tear the roof off of buildings. We're looking at UPWG. I have seen them do amazing shit inside that ring. I've seen them do amazing shit in this style of match. This was the match they wanted for WrestleMania all those moons ago when they had their singles match. They were not given the green light to have that kind of match. They had to go out there and just have a wrestling match at WrestleMania, and I was there. And if you remember, I said I did not like that match at all. It was one of the ones I was the most hyped for to see live, and when the show was over, it was the one that I liked the least. And I was very disappointed. And I said, you know what? I'm going to withhold judgment here. I'm not going to get hyped. Let me just see what they do. Let me see what they bring to the table. And they had ideas that would have worked in the past. Their execution of everything here, not so good. Everything here, I don't know if it was the agents. I don't know if it was their idea. I can't really tell. Everything was stuck in molasses. Everything went slowly. And they would have spurts. Like when Sammy does the Blue Thunder Bomb. He whipped that shit. That was slick, that Blue Thunder Bomb. But it took 10 minutes to set that up. And to get there. And to move from space to space. And to set up this prop. And to move this here. And then we've got a chair wrapped in barbed wire. But nobody's really bleeding. And we have... at one point, Owens takes a pipe to Sammy's mouth and he's pulling him back and he's biting him on the forehead. And they're getting aggressive and they're getting intense, but it doesn't feel like it's moving at all. It doesn't really feel like there's any urgency. There was no sense of I really want to fucking kill this guy. It was all like some sort of psychedelic movie where they're just like pacing and staring and the facials, and it was like theater. It was like Broadway. It was like watching their rendition of Hamlet. You know, it was like, now I move the table thrustly, and they were just moving from scene to scene. I'm using my Clayface voice now from Harley Quinn, but it was very theatrical. It was almost like they were trying to come up with ideas like they would have come up with in the past when Sammy does that exploder on Kevin Owens and basically his fat engulfs a steel chair like Kirby. Like he got dumped on a steel chair for a split second. He had become the chair and then he kept rolling and then all of a sudden the chair reappeared. It had rematerialized out of nowhere. They took some crazy bumps and I'm sure that each one of them sucked. It must have been very, very difficult to have that match. That looked painful as fuck. So I'm not going to sit here and say that they did a shitty job, but at the same time, let's just say I'm glad it didn't happen at Mania. I'm glad it didn't happen at Mania. Yeah. I'm glad it happened in Canada, and I'm glad they got it out of their fucking system. They finally had the match they wanted. And like you said before, now that they've had it, the ending of that match was to set up Kevin Owens and Randy Orton for WrestleMania. I'm not even sure that I'm all that excited for that particular match, but we'll see the build-up and see where they take it. And hopefully it goes in a direction that will be interesting. I would hate to see Kevin or Randy in a program that sucks. But I'm looking at that as for an angle to see where exactly it won't suck. I'm not entirely sure. So far for some of the matches that have been announced for WrestleMania, and that one hasn't been technically announced yet, but that's where they're headed. It will be Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. And I just hope that they are prepared to do some serious building for that one. Because on the surface, if you're just going to tell me, well, the reason why I put this match together is because when Kevin Owens first started to snap, he injured Randy Orton, and now Randy Orton wants his revenge. Yeah, I'm going to need more than that. Because Randy Orton's been doing this a long fucking time. If we were to sit down and write a list of everybody that Randy Orton wants to get fucking revenge on, we would be here a long fucking time. So I don't think that's the sole purpose of wanting to fight Kevin Owens. Especially since he beat up Randy because he was getting in the way of Kevin getting his hands on Cody Rhodes. Which at this point is a non-issue. Cody's busy. So I don't see the purpose. I don't see the point. But we will see. And we're going to go ahead and let them cook.